Welcome to my Bajerski YouTube channel. It's a beautiful day today. It really is, even though the sun isn't shining today so much here in Spain. Still brisk, it's lovely. I'm very happy to be here. You're going to hear noises next door, but I thought I'd like to do a video anyway, so we're going to try and drown that noise out with some truth. First of all, I'd like to talk to you about something that I've been contemplating over the past few weeks that I found very, very fascinating, to say the least. My understanding as a healer has always been that not only what we put into our mouths and what we don't put into our mouths play the majority of our disease, our sickness, our illness, the cancers that are now becoming monumentally brutal, that is happening to so many people, young and old. But also the energy of, let's say, trauma, let's say the illusion of suffering. It's a difficult one to grasp from a point of view that when we see suffering from our family, what they're doing to themselves because they've been persuaded to do certain things over these past 2 years, and now the consequences are very evident to many people that I know. But also there's something that I'd like to talk about, and it's becoming more and more evident that what I spoke about 20 years ago is equally as important. So what I'm trying to say is, not only are we attacked by darkness in the sense of betrayal, lies, deceit, everything that we're told is back to front, the wrong way around, inside out. So everything that we eat, everything that we do to our bodies is a consequence of disease. And we are coming to a point now that most people in a lifetime will get cancer because of all of these attacks. However, there's also something that we don't talk about too much because we don't hold value to it. And yet, especially now that many of my friends who are, all I can say is light workers, warriors of truth, they're the ones who daily see what's going on. They pay attention to what's going on, and they share that with the world. So I guess how I'm gonna tackle this is in the most simplistic way I can, and that is, within every suffering that we see in the world holds an energy. It's a vibration, like a crystal or water or a stone. Everything holds vibration. Whether you look at the stone, whether you hold the crystal, or whether you see suffering happening in front of you, it's a vibration. And it vibrates within you to, I guess, give you the information that you need through your eyes, and the feeling that you feel is giving you information of the pain and suffering that that person's going through. That's tangible. It's an energy. Because we can't see it, we don't give value to it. And yet, as a healer, I am here to say that that is equally as powerful as somebody putting poison into your arm. So what I've noticed in these past few months is that a lot of the truth movement, a lot of people that I know are becoming very sick, who haven't taken any kind of experiments, who haven't touched, let's say, non-foods from supermarkets. So why are they getting sick? Why are my friends getting very sick? And I spoke to somebody this morning about it, and I said the only conclusion is that the work that they do, the empath that they are, that energy that they've worked with, which is the energy that they see daily through the parasitical governments and all the stuff that's happening all our rights, all our freedoms, all the real health and well-being is being taken away from us. That holds weight and that holds energy, and that energy can eat away at our physical if we don't learn to let that go. And the problem is, when you are a warrior, an empath, when you are somebody who is so devoted to truth, when you're somebody who wants to share the truth, you want to share it with the way that you feel. So this is something that we need to think about. I have on my arm here a tattoo. Maybe not the cleverest of thing to do, but it's a reminder what the Buddha once said, which was the most profound words that I've ever heard. And that is, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And what that means is, every day we see suffering, every day. And being an empath that you are, we kind of discern certain thoughts and feelings, and we try and weigh things up by the feelings that we get from what we're seeing happening in and around this world as we speak from moment to moment. And when we feel that, the amount of pain that we feel from what's happening to our children right now, because they're being rushed in to, receive certain things that they have no say in, and that their mum and their fathers are feeling it's the right thing to do. And we can see that this can cause great harm and suffering and sickness and illness. So we feel that pain, and we kind of get to the top of the mountain and scream that pain out because it has to come out. But not everybody has that platform or that person or the opportunity to release that suffering with the world, to share it with the world. I'm very lucky, I have a platform. And I was talking to one of my staff this morning about this. It's easy for me to vent, and I have done for the past 3 years. I've been venting the suffering that I see in and around my world. So it's easy for me to let that go then. But there's a lot of you guys out there who don't have an ear that will listen to you. You don't have a platform, you don't have a video that you can share it with the world and feel better for sharing it and say, okay, at least I've got it out there and it's out of me as well. And because of that, a lot of my friends and family and people that I know who are truth warriors are becoming very sick now and very ill. And the repercussions over what I've just talked about over these three years has taken its toll. So therefore I make this video as a reminder to you, my friends, that there is something that we have to learn to do. We have to become the teacher, and we have to learn to understand, first of all, why we have to learn and change the way we are, our approach, the way we share things, and the way we hold things mainly. Holding on to suffering that we see, we feel as empaths that we need to. How do we actually express ourselves to the world without feeling the pain that we see and sharing that pain? And that's a great question. The Buddha said pain is inevitable. So this world is a world of pain, is a world of suffering, is a world of challenges, tests, and so on. I don't think we came here, although I'd like to think that one day we can change this world so it becomes more of a utopia. I'd love to think that one day that we won't have to scream and shout at each other and have differences of opinions and hate one another because we have a difference of opinion. And we all are to blame for that. We've all bought into that program, that game, one way or another. So holding on to that suffering that we see from day to day, that we know that we want to express ourselves now that we've felt it. Pain is inevitable, but the suffering is optional. So the one thing that we need to change is the suffering that is within us. So yes, today you may see 2 or 3 videos of suffering. You may see somebody talking about something that really upsets you. You might hear somebody talk about something that really gets your juices boiling inside. We have to learn to, at that point, say to ourselves, okay, I'm feeling this pain. I'm feeling this anger, this suffering. I'm feeling these lies and the deceit. But now I need to stop. I need to let that go and use that feeling and that experience for that short moment to be able to now let go of it. So remember, suffering is optional. So when you suffer somebody's pain or whatever's happening outside there in this non-real world of illusion, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to hold on to it? How long for? Is it going to benefit you to hold on to that pain and suffering? I've just been through something very, very traumatic a few days ago, which the trauma isn't really mine. It's what other people are going through, my family. So why would I hold on to that trauma if that trauma is going to cause me the same trauma? It's going to cause me the same pain. I might not be going through what they're going through in the physical sense, but I'm feeling it in the emotional sense. What difference is there? Not really any. It's the same. I'm feeling the same feelings as my family. Do you understand? So how does that help? How am I helping? Well, I'm not. I'm not helping at all. So we have to change the way our actions are. So, okay, we will inevitably, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, go through challenges. We will feel things, we will see things that we don't like. But if we can change our way to become the guru, to become the teacher, to become the one stronger than when everybody else around us is losing their minds and they're getting sick and ill, we can change that. We can be the better version of who we once were by discernment. Okay, yeah, I felt that pain. That was awful. I felt it for 3 years. Well, that means you carried 3 years of an energy that is causing your body physical damage in the long term. So every time you think a bad thought of what somebody's going through, every time you feel a bad thought because of what you've just seen happening in this world, always remind yourself that that is equally as bad as what somebody's going through, what you've just witnessed. So my understanding 20 years ago was when I went through a painful situation, it would last for many months, and I believed, I convinced myself it was important to go through it. And I realize now that importance was my mind. My mind was fooling me into believing that how can you actually believe what you're feeling if you don't feel it for a long time? And that's a very, very clever way of making humanity sick and ill. Okay, so hang on a minute. Somebody's just gone through that and you felt bad 1 minute and then next minute later you're smiling. Well, then you're a liar. Then you're a fake. You're a fraud. You don't really feel pain. You see what I mean? How easy it is to be able to say that. So when my mum died when I was 12, did I go through pain all my life? Well, maybe deep down inside I did, but I tried to make the best of my life. I tried to bring joy into my life instead of feeling the suffering every day of the loss of my mum. And I'm not saying that you have to find your happiness after losing your child or a family member or somebody that you love. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that what good are you? What good am I if all I'm doing is walking around in misery because my brain has said, well, if you really love that person, then you should suffer and mourn for years because then it proves that you really mean what you're what you're feeling. When in actual fact, if you really understand life, if you really go deep and understand spirituality and our spirit world, that is the last thing they want any of us to feel. And I think one of the things that we need to experience in this world to overcome and become stronger than is the loss of our family members to the spirit world, and not feel the suffering of that, but actually rejoice the fact that they're home and they're not suffering anymore, and that their entire world from that moment on is to try and help you become stronger and happier and to move on, and to know that they're there and we can't move on. We can't feel them. We can't feel their love and their joy and their presence if we're in pain and suffering and grief. So there's so many reasons why we have to change the way we act, the knee-jerk reactions, the suffering that we go through because we feel that we need to because of everybody else and what they're going through. When in actual fact, to the darkness, this is an amazing tool. This is one of the greatest and most powerful secrets for the darkness. It knows that you're an empath and it wants you to feel that suffering, because then it's created more suffering for everybody. So if we go around sharing that suffering because we've seen somebody that is injured or hurt because of something that they did and we want to share that with the world, then we're sharing the same suffering, even though it might not be on a physical level, but it's on an emotional level, and it still holds weight in poison energy. It's heavy energy, it's dirty energy, and that eats away. So every time you have a bad thought, that's eating away at a certain part of your body. And it's true. And that's why a lot of spirit workers, a lot of people who work alongside spirit, sometimes neglect this simple but most profound wisdom that needs to be relayed to everybody in the world, that we can't suffer what the darkness is creating, because then we become what the darkness wants us to be. So we have to be stronger than that. So I have noticed more than ever now that more of my friends who are, let's say, awakened or awakening, those who are sharing the truth every day, I am seeing a pattern of them becoming sick. They're getting cancer too. They're getting ill. They're losing their energy, depleting very quickly. Their immune system is shot. They're actually becoming more like healers that I used to witness over the years that became very sick because they were taking on board other people's physical and emotional and traumas, and they didn't clean, heal and cleanse themselves. So I think this video today hopefully might be a wake-up call to you to not hold on to the suffering and hold on to the words of the Buddha. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. It's your choice whether you want to suffer. And hopefully the argument that I've given you today should make you think, is it worth me holding on to the suffering? I mean, what good are you if you were to lie down in a hospital bed today and the doctor come into the room and say, well, I'm sorry, but you're very sick now and there's not much we can do. Well, what good are you? You're no good. It's finished then. So your work here was probably half done. So maybe today you take a new leaf out of your book and remember the words of the crazy man with the crazy tops and say, you know what, I shouldn't be so angry about the world. I shouldn't be so frustrated about the world, about what's happening. Maybe the world will always be like this because the world is meant to be like this for us to grow stronger than it and share our truth in a way that the suffering doesn't affect us as much. So yes, I don't want to switch your beautiful psychic awareness. I don't want to beat you over the head saying that you're a weak person because you've got empathy. No, they're qualities, they're gifts that very few have. But using that gift wisely, feel it and then let it go. And then instead of fueling all that energy of frustration into screaming about it, why not try and find a way that you can fuel the energy and turn it into a positive energy to find answers to be able to help the world, rather than live in that pain and suffering that you're feeling through the day. That certainly affects your family and friends. Really, it does. And, you know, I'm holding my hand up. Over these past 3 years, you saw me, what I was like when I found out they were going to mass Britney Spears everybody. You know what I was like. I was like terrible. I was screaming and getting upset, and, you know, we're all victim to this. So I'm not saying I'm any better, but what I am saying is I'm recognizing that through my friends and what I'm seeing, it's a real wake-up call for us all to change the way we are. And instead of fueling that suffering that is happening because of the darkness, the battle between light and dark, good and bad, we don't get involved with the suffering. We don't embrace the pain. We let it go, and we change that from today and try to send love and healing and positivity. Meditate more and see the world a better place. Be more creative in your words and share positivity and help people grow stronger than the pain that they're going through. You know, when you're in pain and you go up to somebody and you reassure them that they're in pain, that doesn't help anything. So yes, things bad happen. So I go up to somebody who's saying things are bad, and I go up to them and say, yeah, you're right, things are bad. Has that helped? Has that made any difference? Do I reassure? And after I've reassured to them, well, does it make them feel better? No, you're just reassuring that there's pain. How about let's change that and say, yeah, there is pain, you're right, but let's try and change that. What can we do? That's all I'm saying. And that's my message today. And I'm glad there's not so much noise at the moment, that I'm able to have made this video for just a simple 20 minutes, just to remind us all that the best way forward right now is to be the change for others when they're going through the pain and suffering. So let's not remind them. Let's not reconfirm what they already know. Let's clear that energy away with love and healing, a touch, a caring ear, but change the way you feel. Change your actions and become the light in this world. This message is for all of us, more so for me than you, because those who preach need to hear that message for themselves more than who they share it with. I'm wishing you all a lovely day today. A little reminder that anybody who goes to markbajerski.com and buys a crystal, that then will be, I don't know the exact amount, but if it's shipped freely because of the amount of the value of the crystal, you'll get a free t-shirt. You just need to ask. So if you didn't ask, it's been shipped out, that's too late. We can't send you one. But if you are going to buy a crystal and you've bought one, then in the comment say, if I'm eligible for a free t-shirt, please send one, and then just give us 3 examples of colours that you like, and we'll try and get you the right colour to you. These t-shirts are not brand new. They've been, I might have worn them once or twice or 3 times. I don't know, but because I bought a load of new t-shirts, I'd just like to give you one of these t-shirts as a gift from my heart to yours. Some of you are now going, and some of you are going, yay! If you want one, just put it in the description when you make your payment for your crystal, and we'll try and get one off to you. We can't promise, but we'll try our best. Okay, have a lovely day. Take care of yourselves from my heart to yours. Love you all. shine bright, be amazing, and thank you for going to markbajerski.com and buying your authentic crystals, incense, oils, and teas, and everything on there. Thank you so much for your support. Have a beautiful day. Take care.